Hey guys!
Hi!
Thanks for clicking on this video. So today we're going to talk about the best and worst advice for autism parents. We are a year and a half into our autism journey, so we received a lot of advice so far. So we wanted to put this video out there while it was still pretty fresh of all of that newbie advice you get, because that's the best ones. Like,
yeah.
Everybody has an opinion on it.
Yeah.
Just let Madeline in. She's gonna be in the video. It is what it is.
She's back there.
I'm not listening to her whine.
Okay.
Welcome to Crazy Madeline mode. She's so excited. So I have been keeping notes on my phone. Madeline, stop moving my camera. Madeline has been deprived of my attention all day and she just can't not be beside me. So if she's gonna wiggle the camera, my apologies. All right.
Just helping with the different angles.
She is. She's getting us all sorts of different angles here. All right. So I'm gonna start this video with like our number one piece of advice right off the bat, and then number two, which is a really close second, I'm gonna say for the end. So stay tuned for that one. It's a good one. My absolute favorite piece of advice that I've ever received and that I give to other people. Like, this is like my ultimate, I'm just going to start out with the big one. You are your child's biggest advocate. There is nobody else that's going to fight for your child the way you do.
I agree. You are your biggest child's advocate. You know your child.
You are your
biggest
child advocate.
You're the biggest child. You know your child better than anyone else, and you know what they need. With that being said, you're not expected to know everything out there in the world on autism. And don't stress yourself out over the fact that you have not read everything on autism.
It's true.
Your job is to help your child succeed, get them to the right people that are trained and have the information that can help you.
Exactly.
It's okay to grieve and be upset when the diagnosis comes back. It's okay to cry.
Yeah.
We do it.
Yes, we do.
I do it more than her.
So I think it's important for people to realize it's okay to take time to process this information. And part of that is grieving over the fact that you had all of these ideas in your head that with this diagnosis you realize may or may not happen the way you imagined it for your child. And it's okay to take a little bit of time to grieve and process that and accept that things are maybe different than you envisioned them. We all have ideas and expectations in our head and these moments of our kid's gonna do this, and you know, it's okay to take time to grieve. I know it's 2021 and everybody out there is just like, take time for yourself. That's kind of big advice right now, but actually make it a priority. You cannot give if your cup is not filled. So you have to make sure to prioritize yourself, because let's face it, especially when not even when you just get diagnosed, the entire journey is one hurdle after another, and you have to continue to learn how to prioritize yourself so you are fully charged to support your child and your family.
Talk to an autistic adult. They've been through it. They have experienced what it's like growing up and going through life with autism.
Yeah. I think that's great advice, being able to actually talk to somebody who's been through it. I mean, we're right here on YouTube, and there are plenty of adults with autism that are more than willing to share their journey.
Yeah.
So if you don't find somebody in person you could talk to, obviously with COVID right now, right here on YouTube, trust your gut. I think this is so vital that people easily overlook, because they're like, this person's an expert, or this person knows this, and this person has the experience. As a parent, as a caregiver for somebody, you know that person better than anybody else. And if your gut says that there's something wrong, follow up. ask questions. Don't just take one person's opinion as the golden rule. Keep asking, keep getting information, keep finding out new ways to continue to help your child. If you think that there is something that they need or don't need, or if you're like trying to fight for testing, whatever it is that you're trying to fight for, if you think in your gut that that's the case or the issue or what they need, keep fighting for it.
Don't dwell on what they are not doing. Focus on the positive. Focus on what they are doing and what they are capable of.
Yeah, I think so many times people get caught up in well, they need to work on this and continue to improve this. That's true. I mean, everybody can use improvement, but it's also important to take time to appreciate what they have already accomplished. Yes, you accomplished potty training very easily, but now we need to work on barking. Yes. Sit. Oh, good girl. See, we just need to appreciate the fact that you sit when we tell you to. We need to take more time to appreciate that.
Get to know your child. Get to know what they like, what they're good at, and their interests. And don't just focus solely on their autism diagnosis.
They're more than just a diagnosis. They're people just the same as before a diagnosis.
Yes. And they're some of the most fascinating and entertaining people out there.
Very entertaining.
Yes.
Do not beat yourself up over the diagnosis. Do not get stuck in that mindset. He's looking at me because I did it. As moms, I feel like we're more keen into, did I do something wrong in pregnancy? Did I do something wrong when he was a baby? Is it my genes? Did I give him the wrong genes? What have I done? Did I vaccinate him? Did I not vaccinate him?
We've had this discussion. I told you specifically, you brought it up. It was that 2 cans of Mountain Dew you had while you were pregnant.
And I'm like, oh my God, did I drink too much Mountain Dew when I was pregnant? Is that what caused this? Like, I know if your head's like mine, it goes out of control. And I mean, all of these tabs start popping up.
The important thing is to remember, people, they don't know what actually causes it. There's a lot of theories and guesses out there, but stressing yourself out over everything that you may or may not have done correctly, blaming yourself for it, is not helping anyone.
Here's the thing. I mean, statistically, we know if you smoke, you're more likely to get lung cancer, but that doesn't mean everybody that smokes gets lung cancer. So, I mean, you got to take it with a grain of salt. I mean, yeah, it would be nice to know, be like, okay, he has this. What caused it? I mean, everybody wants to know what caused it, but you cannot get hung up on that. You can't stay in that spot. You can't stay in that position. You have to be able to accept that you're not going to know the answer, and you need to be okay with that and move on.
Because even if you know the answer, it doesn't change the diagnosis. They have autism. Unless you invent a time machine. And then
You do good.
Kudos for you.
Call us up.
You know, and
We wanna talk.
maybe pre-warn us for 2020.
I bet you someone with autism is a time machine.
That'd be great.
Oh, yeah.
Except that not everything's going to work. Everyone has plans. Plans don't work. It's nice to have plans. But everyone throws a wrench in a plan at some point. Or an entire year.
I think a big one is like potty training. Like, we're going to do this to get him to potty train or get her to potty train. And no matter how hard you try, it may not work that way.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have to move on and try something else. Just accept trial and error. You're gonna try some things, and some of the things you try are not going to work.
Yeah. Just because Susan, you read about online, potty training, was able to get her son to potty train in a certain amount of time, doesn't mean it's going to work with your child.
Crazy dog. I don't know if you guys can hear this on camera, but she's like doing her little here.
She got the crazy ass. Oh.
She got the creep. Oh yeah. Look at her go. My apology for all the dog noises.
Wrench thrown in plan.
Just be aware of the fact that when people buy your children gifts for birthdays or Christmas, that they may consider the age and not the ability of the child. That happens often, and they mean it with the best of intentions take it for what it is and just accept that that's going to happen often, and that's okay. Come up with whatever it is that you guys want to do. Are you going to keep it or donate it or whatever it is? Just kind of have that in the back of your head. Sometimes with this diagnosis, age ranges don't apply the same way they would, and gifts may reflect that.
Autism is expensive.
So expensive.
Just straight to the point, people. Not going to be around the bush. It's expensive. It's all the therapies and everything. It's expensive.
Well, was it over $1 million?
Something like that.
Oh, I can't remember the number. I used to know the number.
Kids are expensive to begin with.
Yeah. No, but like all of the extra services and all the additions and like things that you need to do just for your child to adjust to them having autism and their abilities and stuff. It was, I want to know it now. I checked because it was bugging me. Over a lifetime with autism ranges from 1.4 million to 2.4 million. That's the cost. In addition to like a normal living cost. That's on top of it.
Not only that's scary. There are programs out there and assistance to help people, but still.
If you don't think that you can afford that out of pocket, just accept that there's going to be a lot of applications to be filling out for assistance for every single program. Yeah. And sometimes multiple ones.
But that's all right.
Lots of extra paperwork.
Because they're worth it.
They are 100% worth it. So, I feel like we can't go on. You're like, because they're worth it. And like, that's it. We're done.
I'll put that at the end of the video.
No, you already did it. So
I'm sorry.
No, it's
okay. I just ruined the video.
It was good. Take your child out and do it often. Do not leave your child at home with somebody else because you don't want them out in public. I feel like this needs to come with like some type of little disclaimer down here saying when there's not a pandemic going on. Just keep that in mind. Take your child out. Take them out often. That helps them learn the coping skills that they need. Do it at a young age. Do it as often as you can. Even if it's short little 5-minute increments, and work your way up. I know it's hard and it's inconvenient. I'm not saying do it every time because sometimes you need to just be able to go and get stuff. But make it a point to take your child out as often as you can. Alan, do you want to list through some of the...
Yes. The bad
things to say?
I'm Mr. Downer, so that's why she like do the bad.
And then I've got one more piece of really good advice. Like, this is my second, like, best piece of advice. Like, the first one was you're your child's biggest advocate. Number 1. Number 2, I'm saving for last. I think the general just bad advice is anything that cures your child. Autism isn't anything that is curable or ever goes away. It's challenges that they will have with them their entire life. So any type of diet or herbal remedies or medication or anything that claims to cure your child of autism is bad advice. Just gonna sum it up all there.
Yeah.
Along with that, there are things that you can do to improve some symptoms, especially like ADHD. It's been proven that healthier diets and what they're consuming can affect ADHD. There are things that you can do to make your child operate at their full potential, but it doesn't change their ability or their diagnosis. Clarification there.
Yeah.
All right. My number two piece of good advice. And it went from good to bad, back to good. For our final piece of advice, including this video, take all advice with a grain of salt. Not all advice is going to apply to you. Not all advice is always, not everybody that giving you advice is giving you advice with your best interest or your child's best interest in mind. Think about the person that's giving the advice. Do they have a legitimate reason to be giving you advice? Like, is it something they have experience with or know somebody that has experience with it? Does the advice make sense? think about that. Like, does this sound reasonable and rational to you? Does this sound like something that would make you want to try it, or does it help you? Then great. And if it doesn't, don't worry about it. You have enough to worry about as it is. There is no reason to spend your time stuck on bad advice because somebody else was having a bad day, thinks they know everything about everybody, wanted to have their own input on it. Because you all know who I'm talking about. Everybody knows dog.
She has a big butt that hits everything.
You guys know who I'm talking about. Every single person out there has gotten advice from that person who has advice about everything.
We all have that one friend or acquaintance or
coworker or relative,
or there's someone.
Yeah.
There's always someone.
Best thing to do is to smile and say, okay, thank you, and leave it alone. Do not think about it again if it does not make sense to you or sit well with you or is not coming from a place of love with the best of intentions for you and your child. That is it for this video. If you've stuck around with us, please give us a like, thumbs up, comment. We love getting to know you guys. It's super fun for us. We sit here and we're like, hey, look who commented! And we'll be like, oh, that's so nice. And we get so excited to read you guys and get to know you guys too. And Jessie loves seeing the likes. It's like, oh, how many likes did we get? Do we have 17? Do we have 20? Can we get 100? He gets very excited about the numbers. So I appreciate your guys' likes and comments and continued support. And Madeline does too. She's just so excited. That's her being excited.
I think next film we're going to leave the dog out.
All right. We will see you guys next Tuesday.
Bye.
Click on this video. Will you please click on this video? Come on. Push it. Can you please subscribe? Can you please push that subscribe button? Or for the other video, just go and press this button. Go on. Click this button. Or this button. Or this button. Well, mostly this button. I would like it if you did.